Good afternoon, good morning. We don't know what time it is wherever you are today. Thank you so much for joining us. We are starting a brand new series today, but before we do that, let's introduce ourselves first. My name is Teresa Castro.
And I am Ricardo Recinos.
And we are both technology TOSAs from Hacienda La Puente Unified School District. So we're starting a whole new session and we're going to fumble our way through this because this is a topic we are super excited about and we can go on for hours, trust me, and we're going to try our best not to do that. But our new session is called the Inclusive Classification. Thanks, Ricardo. Thanks. So we're going to be talking about the inclusive classroom. And our first episode today is Immersive Reader and Reading Progress. So before we even begin, we need to even talk about what do we mean by the inclusive classroom? What do we mean? So there's a lot of ways to talk about that. We know inclusive is really just creating a culture of belonging for our students, right? That's a huge umbrella we could talk about, but we're going to try to narrow it down so that we can stick to what we're supposed to talk about today. So when we talk about an inclusive classroom, we talk about being equitable. And we've heard this term thrown around for so long, right? And we always hear that equal is not equitable, not necessarily, right? Equitable means that you're giving students what they need. And lots of students need different things. So that's what we're talking about, being equitable here. We want to make sure we provide tools, resources, and things like that so that students have equitable access to things. So that brings us to our next one. Sorry, I got ahead of myself. So our next one is talking about having our material, having everything accessible. So what is accessibility? It's having equitable access to instruction, to what else, Ricardo?
I was just going to say that if I was, and I'll talk about this later, but for a student that doesn't speak English, you have provided that accessibility with those captions that we are reading under the PowerPoint right now. So that's just a great way of doing it. That's the best way I can describe it. Now, this is what you are doing. The material is accessible to me. Before it wasn't.
Wow. So he even went into an example already before we went into it. So I love it. Perfect. So I love that. So we're going to go a little bit further into this. So click. So here's a great quote that we love from Nicole Eretix. I'm sorry if I said that wrong. Inclusion isn't a program. It's the process of including students of all ability levels in our education system to the fullest extent possible. So it's not a program, it's a process, something that you always have to do to make sure all kids are included. It actually says inclusion, right? And so we're going to take it a step further. There's a lot of barriers that our students face, and here it talks about ability levels, but there's more than that. And so, Ricardo, can you think of more things?
Yeah, I mean, thinking about me, obviously that language barrier that I had when I came to this country, right? But not just that, motivational barriers to some degree are part of it. Emotional factors might play a role and affect learning, right? Personal issues that we might not be aware, social and cultural barriers, or the way we perceive people. I mean, there's so many things that we can add to this.
So many barriers, right? And that's why we didn't want to just stick with accessibility and equity, because it's such a bigger umbrella. We want to also include just the sense of belonging. And that's not just with technology, not just your material, it's all around. And so this, our future sessions, we're really excited about this series, and we know it can get really big. And we're going to start simple today, but we're really excited about it.
Or you had too much coffee, one or the other. Let's continue.
I might have had too much coffee, but I don't drink coffee, so that is false. But let's go ahead and continue. So our objective is to discover ways to make instruction accessible to all students, regardless of level, language, disability, or any of those barriers that Ricardo mentioned earlier, to explore online tools that provide an inclusive experience for every student. So we're going to focus on online tools for now, but we are going to broaden that to other tools, other things that we could do in our classroom as well, with or without technology, right? So our purpose is to discover ways to make instruction accessible to all students. And the tools that we're going to examine today is Immersive Reader and Reading Progress. Did you want to talk about Immersive Reader or anything before I move on?
No, I think we are going to go into Immersive Reader in depth, and you're going to find out there's a misunderstanding. Immersive Reader is not a screen reader, but a reading enhancement tool that provides these tools to the students that it becomes second nature. You don't have to do anything extra. They're just there for the students. And once they learn how to use them, you're going to see a big difference.
And I think that's the big aha moment here, right? Because a lot of teachers have heard about it and they're like, I don't really need that. That's just an extra thing for me to do. But it really is. It's not an extra thing for you to do. Once you teach your students how to do it, you are giving them the tools to help themselves to be able to access your instruction. So you just provide instruction as normal. And these students with these certain challenges, they can use these tools to help themselves to understand what it is you're saying, what you're trying to teach them. So I think a lot of teachers don't realize that. So that's really powerful. And we hope that you find that useful today.
And I
So
think the same, I was going to say the same with reading progress. This is brand new. We're so excited about it. And you're going to find out that it's an app that functions inside of Microsoft Teams, and it actually supports students in building fluency through independent, and here it is, independent reading practice. So again, once you create this, they're doing it on their own, and you'll be able to see the educator review you can do, but also the insights that you can get, the data that you can get about how your students are doing in improving their reading through reading progress.
reading progress is amazing, and we weren't sure if we would be able to bring it in today, but we're focusing on reading today, so we couldn't get through this without including reading progress. So I wasn't sure what it was, so Ricardo showed me, and I was like, my mind was blown, just like it was when I saw Immersive Reader. So we're really excited about what we're going over today. So our non-purpose is we don't expect you to throw out everything you've been doing. We know you've been doing amazing things, and please don't feel limited to what is shared today, but please promise us you're going to at least try this in your classroom. Both things, at least give it a try, because trust us, it's gonna blow your mind. It's change everything. It's gonna be amazing. All right, so let's move on. Okay, so students would rather go without than stand out. We need to move from assuming access to ensuring access in classrooms. So since this is our first episode of this series, we just really wanted to drill down onto why we're doing this. What is the point? And, this really hits home for both of us. For Ricardo and I, we're both language learners. And for me, I know I was one of those students who, if I needed help, if I didn't understand something, I'd rather just be quiet and just stay under the radar, and you wouldn't even notice. You wouldn't notice that I wasn't getting the access that I needed, because I'd rather, what to say right here, I'd rather go without than to stand out. And I definitely did not want to stand out. And so we need to ensure that students are getting the access they need. I think Ricardo has a story for this.
Yeah, and also, with the quote, right? We can assume that the access is there. We have
Right.
to ensure that the access is there. And some of you might have heard my story before, but I came to the States when I was 16 years old, from El Salvador, escaping the civil war over there. And I went to Garfield High School, a great school, but my first experiences weren't so great. I was given a placement test by a counselor that was completely in English to test my math skills and obviously my reading and writing skills, and I completely bombed it. I did horrible, and I still to this day remember that counselor saying, "Pobrecito, no sabe nada," like poor guy, he doesn't know anything, right? And being placed in these remedial classes because they assume that I didn't know anything based on the fact that they were, basically assessing what I knew with a language that I didn't understand. And it wasn't until Jaime Escalante, a teacher that you might have heard of, actually came to my homeroom, took me out, and gave me a test in my own language that I was able to prove that I did have the skills to stand out, if I can put it that way. So that's just just a story that always hits home. And when I see my students, I always think about that. How do we provide that access for them that we weren't provided when we were younger?
Absolutely. So I guess before we keep talking, let's just get into it, right?
Yeah. So let's get
down to business.
business. And we are going to start today with Immersive Reader. And as I mentioned before, again, Immersive Reader, it's a reading enhancement tool. And as we go through it, Teresa's going to give you some great data because it's proven techniques, okay, that are going to improve reading and writing for our students, regardless of age or ability, okay? So this is a Microsoft product, but it's available in so many platforms. It's such a great program that other platforms keep adding it to their platforms, to their basically their systems. You can see it on Flipgrid, you can see it on Wacklet, you can see it on Canvas. You keep seeing it everywhere. It's just coming up and up because it is a great program or a great software that we can use. I want to show you how it works. So I'm just basically right now, I'm inside of a Word document right now. And this is something that my daughter had to read. Okay. And then she had trouble reading. And then we discover Immersive Reader. And then I want to show you what's going to happen. So this text that is right here, okay, if inside a Word, and I'm on Office 365, but this exists in the desktop version too, I go into View. I have the option to use something called Immersive Reader. And I'm going to click on it, and you're going to see what's going to happen. Basically, this same material that you saw a second ago, it's going to turn into something completely different. Notice what it turned into right now. I'm just going to give you an idea what it looks like. So I actually have the ability to have this read to me. It's going to take you through tips of what can it do and so on and so on. I'm just going to kind of go through it for you, okay? So if I wanted this read to me, I could just click play.
Earthquake. Early in the morning of January 17, 1994.
And just to give you an idea, I have the over here, I have the ability to change the voice speed. So that was slower, at a slower pace for a student that might need it, but we can actually change it to normal pace. But we might have, again, that reader that is actually reading at a faster pace, right? They can actually increase the speed to faster if they wanted to, okay? Notice that I can have the female voice, but also the male voice in here. So I'm going to click it now.
Disaster struck the city of Los Angeles. An earthquake shook.
So that gives you an idea, already a great tool to help those students, right, to be able to read that, okay? Did you want to say something about that, Teresa?
Yeah, if you don't mind, Ricardo, I'm just going to interject with the research
Please,
as you're
do
going
it.
through, if you don't mind.
I'm
I
used to
love
it.
the
Go ahead.
research. Yeah, yeah, thanks. So this was, this text to speech and actually having the simultaneous highlighting of the words at the same time is super powerful for those students who are emerging readers or language learners. Just seeing the words simultaneously as you're hearing it is really powerful. Just wanted to point that out because you might not even realize that's happening. It's like a karaoke ball, right? So that itself, like that is very intentional, and it really, we've seen studies where it has helped students develop in their reading so much more quickly, being able to hear it, to see it, and to comprehend. So just wanted to mention
Great
that.
point. So I'm going to start going through the features over here from left to right. The first one I want you to see is the text preferences. So if I click on the text preferences, you're going to see that in here, I have the ability to change the text size. I can make it bigger. I can make it smaller, depending on what the student needs, just to show you that. I also noticed that I have increased the spacing. By default, it comes like this, but this might be a little too difficult. I know for my daughter, this was difficult to read. So I can come over here and increase the spacing right there. And now it makes it easier for her to be able to see that.
Oh, I want to say something about that.
Go ahead.
So there's a study, it says 10% faster and 50% fewer reading errors when reading text is optimized with the layout. So just exactly what you said right now, being able to spread the words out. You just give them a book and they're really limited to what they see, but with Immersive Reader, they can adjust that. So our students can improve reading just by something as simple as that. So just, just so amazed by all this data, but keep going, I'm sorry.
At the same time, we have different fonts in here. There's different ones that you can choose. I like to use Comic Sans just because it's the closest to handwriting. But I know today we were talking about it as we were getting ready, and Teresa discovered something about this particular font over here.
Yeah, there was a study. So Comic Sans for sure, because it is the closest to writing. I love that. But the Sitka font has been winning this race actually, because it's a collaboration between type design and science. So it shows that when you're reading it, especially like online or on a computer, that this is the easiest one to read. I guess it depends on the person, right? So they can adjust it as needed.
You also have the themes, right? For that kid, that white might not work for them. Okay, they have the ability to change the colors. I know all of us that have a Kindle will love to do this, right? And we love to change the colors to different themes, right? I prefer the blue. I know Teresa cannot see anything when it's blue. That's why I have it on blue right now. But just to give you an idea, it gives you that option, and there's more colors over here that you can have. Okay, so just a great tool. Did you want to mention anything about that?
Yeah, when they did the study, they said that students who didn't use these overlays, they were reading more slowly and they were getting more tired and distressed as they were reading. So being able to choose the colors that is most comfortable to them actually made them be able to read longer and read faster as well. So that helped with their comprehension. So we just thought it's to be pretty, but everything is intentional here. So giving our students those tools is amazing.
Intentional, but just thinking about it, for me, reading that boring white page compared to reading this with all these colors, I mean, automatically I'm more, engaged just by looking at it. Then we're gonna move on to grammar options. So let me go ahead and click on the middle one, and you might have noticed already all of the colors for the different words in here. Okay, notice that you have the ability by default. Everything will be in one color, but I can tell it, you know what, I want to see the nouns in red. And now I can see those nouns. Think about that English language learner like me, understanding what a noun is, especially because I was always comparing the language to my Spanish, obviously my main language. So this would have been a great help, being able to see the verbs in blue, being able to see the adjectives in green, the address in a different color, and also to show the labels. So notice that would be a great help over here if I wanted to see that.
It's amazing. And even for adults, it says that there's a 10% increase in reading comprehension when they could see the syllables. Or there's this word I kept trying to practice how to say it, syllabification. How do you say it, Ricardo?
Civilification. Yeah, we're English language learners.
Yeah, but even just being able to break it up like that, increase comprehension, even for adults. So these aren't just our students, right? This is for us too. So having that ability to do that. Pretty cool.
Something that I should have mentioned is that the picture dictionary in here. If I was to click on here, notice that I can have the picture show up, and I can have it pronounce it for me.
Land.
Okay, and that's something that is automatically there as you are going through it.
People.
Okay, but we're gonna continue. We're gonna go to the reading preferences. Probably my favorite tab, because it would have been the one that would have helped me the most, and it's the one that helped my daughter the most. So my daughter will look at this particular reading, and if it was something from the web, just to give you an idea, if I went to the web, I'll come back to this right now, but she would have been completely distracted by everything that was around here. So Immersive Reader gets rid of all of those distractions. So that's something that is pretty big. At the same time, notice that she also has the ability to do the line focus. So I can actually come in here and click, and notice that now she has the ability to move through the material one line at a time. If she wanted to choose one line at a time, she could switch it to do maybe 2 or 3, but just a great tool to have to be able to concentrate on that particular line as she's reading the material. In addition to that, we talked about the picture dictionary that is already there. So that's already turned on. And this is by far my favorite. The ability for me to be able to see that text, but also be able to use the skills that I already bring into the classroom with me. I knew how to read in Spanish, obviously, right? So I can come in here and select my language. Over here, I'm just going to go to Spanish. I'm just going to pick Latin America for today. And notice that I can go ahead and translate the whole text. And notice that now I have that same original text, okay, in English, but right here to support me, I have it also in Spanish, okay? And I'm not saying that I'm going to just basically go look at it in Spanish and now I'm not going to be learning the languages. I just want to be able to compare, and I want to be able to use that so it can help me. Just to give you an idea, it's going to read it in the correct accent now.
Terremoto. Temprano en la mañana del 17 de enero de...
Okay, you also have the ability to go into the picture dictionary, and now you have the word. Think about that English language learner.
City.
And I know the city is
Ciudad.
Okay, so now I have both of them right in front of me right there.
Can you imagine what difference that would have been to young Ricardo when he was coming? And it's, teachers, it's not something that they would have to do. This is a tool that you would be able to use. Can you imagine how different things would be? That counselor wouldn't be able to say that to you.
Right. But that is Immersive Reader in a nutshell. I mean, that's basically what it does. And I think Teresa said it best, is that once our students learn how to use it, I want to show you this. Okay, so this was just a Word document, but it doesn't just work there. Maybe we're on a PowerPoint. Okay, this is the PowerPoint that we were using a second ago. Our students can come in here on their own. Okay, they can highlight, they can right click, and notice I can come in here and say Open Immersive Reader. And it's going to go ahead and take it. And now I'm inside of PowerPoint, and I'm using the same tool that we show our students how to use once. And now they have the tools to be able to access this content. Just to show you, just to keep going, I also have the ability to go to people. Many people don't know this, okay? But I'm just going to go to OneDrive right now, okay? And notice that I have all these files in here. And let me just pick one. It doesn't matter what I pick. Let me pick, let's pick this one right here, Reading Progress Test. I'm just going to click on it. And I can go over here and I can go to open, and I can click and notice what I have right here.
Wow.
Open an Immersive Reader. I don't even have to go to where I can click on it, and it's going to open that document inside of OneDrive with Immersive Reader. Okay. We use obviously Outlook in our school, and I want to show you Immersive Reader is available right here. I'm just just think about that parent or that teacher, right? Maybe that parent sends you an email in Spanish and you don't know what she's saying, but you have Immersive Reader to be able to take it and translate it to the language that you do know how to.
And you don't have to walk all the way to the office to get someone to translate it for you.
So great tool to have, right? But it gets way better than that, okay? And we're going to show you today. So I know a lot of our teachers have asked, well, what about something that is not on the computer? What about if I have a book like this and I want to be able to have the students be able to use that Immersive Reader? So there's something amazing that Microsoft has created that is available for every mobile device that is called Office Lens, okay? So I want to show you what that looks like right now. I'm going to bring, if you give me a second, I'm going to bring my phone screen into the screen right here. 1 second. And let me just change this so you can see it better. Okay. So let me go back. Okay, and in here, I downloaded something that is called Office Lens. So all you have to do is go to the App Store, whether you're using an Android phone or you're using an iOS device, and just look for something that is called Office Lens and go ahead and download it, okay? And it looks exactly like this. And once you have it, you're going to click it. And the first time you use it, it's going to ask you to connect it to your accounts, right? So I'm using my school account, so it's connected to my school account, so I can send everything to Word document, I can send everything to a OneNote, and so on and so on. So completely up to you how you use it. But notice that over here, it opened the camera for me, okay? I have a book, and I'm just going to basically, I don't know if you can see this in a second. I have a page, and I'm going to take a picture of this page, okay? So let me see if I can get it right. So let me go ahead and go in here, and let me try to grab that picture. Hopefully I don't have a reflection, and I can get it right. So I'm going to take a picture of this. Okay, I got it. So I think that's okay for me. I think I'm okay with that picture. I can go ahead and crop it if I want to. Okay, if I wanted to do that, I could. Okay, but I think I'm okay with it. I'm going to say that I'm okay with this picture. I'm going to confirm, and I'm going to say that I'm done. Okay, and now I have the ability to just give it a different name if I wanted to. I'm just going to leave the date there on top. If you notice right here, it just gives it the date for today. So I'm not going to change it, but I could change it and maybe name it the name of the book that I took a picture of. And I have the ability to save it on my phone, but I also have the ability to put it into my OneDrive as a PDF. I want to show you what it looks like when I do OneNote. Okay, so I'm going to send it to my OneNote without doing anything. I'm just going to have it click over here, OneNote. I can send it to OneDrive. I can send it to Word document or PowerPoint, completely up to you. Okay, but I also notice that I have the ability to have it read in here. So if you have those mobile devices in the classroom, you could just click here on Immersive Reader, and you're going to see that that particular picture that I just took is going to turn into that amazing Immersive Reader that we are talking about. So now we have that paper, that physical copy now became a digital copy, and notice that I have Immersive Reader right here with all of the tools that we talked about before. But I want to show you just in addition to that, okay? I am going to send it to my OneNote. So I'm going to say save. Okay, it's going to save it for me. It's saying waiting to transfer. Okay, so we're going to give it a second. So there it is. And now what I want to show you is that I can go now to my OneNote. Okay, and if you're not familiar with Office 365, if you go to the waffle, you'll be able to find all of these different programs right here. And OneNote is one of them that is available right here. So that's all I did. I went to my OneNote. Okay, so I'm going to open my OneNote. And let me go ahead and open it. It's going to open. Okay. And just to give you an idea, this, as we wait for it to load, this was something that my daughter had to read too for her class. It was a reading test. I just want to show you before I move on that if I go in here and I go to view, I have the ability to go and turn that into Immersive Reader. But let's kind of go ahead and look for that page we just took. It's right here on the bottom. Remember our little picture? It's going to take a while to load. Here it is with the little puppy right there, right? And this is what we took a picture of. But if I come in here and I hit Immersive Reader, you're going to notice that it's going to take it and it's going to turn it into that.
It's like magic. The first
like
time I saw that, I was
magic.
like, oh my gosh.
So
Amazing.
again, I mean, the fact that this is on paper shouldn't stop you from using such an amazing tool as Immersive Reader. If you have something like Office Lens, you saw how fast this was done. It took me, a minute to take a picture of it and send it to OneNote and have it available for our students. So this is how you will use it inside of Office 365 tools. Just to give you one more, this is available. We use Canvas as our LMS, and this is available inside of Pages right now. Only on Pages. It is coming to other parts of Canvas. It's going to come to anything that has a rich content editor, so such as assignments, such as discussions, modules, and so on and so on. But I wanted to show you that if you are using Canvas, you do have the Immersive Reader button in any Pages, and I can click on it, and you're going to see that it's going to turn it into that amazing platform that we've been discussing. Okay, if we have a chance, we'll show you how you can get creative inside of Canvas and still use it in assignments. But I know Teresa wanted to mention how you can use it inside the browsers that we use.
So I know we've been doing a lot of this in Office 365, which we love. And some of you might wonder, well, I don't have it. How do I use it? And for those of us who obviously use browsers, we are going to want to use it in here as well. So I'm going to show you how to use it in your browsers. We actually can use Immersive Reader as the students are researching and going through the internet. So I'm just, for example, I'm on Edge right now. I'm on Microsoft Edge. I'm going to show it to you in Edge and also in Chrome. Okay, so here I am on Edge, and I'm just at a random place, Aquarium of the Pacific. I love going through this website. So I'm in Shark Lagoon right now, and you don't have to add anything to Edge, which is amazing. It's already here. If you look at the very top of my browser, it's right there. If I click on that, it just brings me straight into Immersive Reader, what is inside. So I can be anywhere on the internet, and I can click on Immersive Reader, and I could use those tools like what Ricardo had gone over earlier. I'm not going to go through all of them because he already did a great job earlier going through those tools. I could also, if I turn that off, I could highlight the portion that I want, and I could right click, and I could where is it, open selection in Immersive Reader, and just gets that little section if that's all you want. So you just show your students how to do that so they can help themselves as they go through text in the internet. Okay. Did I miss anything for this one, Ricardo?
No, I was gonna say that, especially with this type of websites, the one you picked today was easy to read, but the ones that have all these distractions and ads and so on, that's when Immersive Reader becomes such a great tool, because it takes all these distractions away. I know my daughter will be like, "Oh, look at the birdie," and she'll be distracted by that, and she won't concentrate on what she has to do. So
Absolutely,
I think that's a great tool. Yeah.
Thank you for mentioning that. Okay, so and of course, if we don't use Edge, I know a lot of us use Chrome, so I'm going to bring that in for us right now. Let me bring that in right here. Same side. I know I'm in love with the aquarium. I don't work for them, I promise. So for Chrome, you actually have to install the extension. So you would just go to your Omnibox and just search for Immersive Reader Chrome. And I already did that, and I found it. And I just have to go here and add to Chrome. So I'm just click on that, add extension, and it's going to show up over here. If it doesn't show up for you there, you can pin it, which I love to do. So there it is now. So I can go to any website. I'm going to go back to that one. Ricardo, you can, if you want to tell me a harder one, I could definitely do that.
No, that's perfect. Go ahead and use that one.
But here I am. So just like what I showed earlier, you can highlight what you want, and you can right click, and then you can help me read this. It's a little bit different. Okay. So you don't see that icon in the Omnibox at the very top. You highlight it and you go, help me read this. And when you click on it, now it looks familiar to you, just like what Ricardo went over. The play button down here, all the different features at the top right. Okay, so that is how you get it on Chrome. You can go to anything. Ricardo, do you want me to do a harder one? Or are you going to show them? Or?
No, that's perfect. That's perfect. I think we get the idea.
That was brief, but I mean, pretty much, it's the same thing. So that is how you do it on the internet.
And before we move on, I just wanted to show you, if we do have time at the end, I'll show you how to set it up. But I wanted to show you over here, I have just an immersive reading test that I wanted to show you. I'm just going to click on it. Okay. And what I want you to see is all I did in here is I used the rich content editor to attach a document that came from Office 365 Word. And when our students come and see this, what I want you to see is that our students will be able to, in here, if I go to student view, hopefully this is going to work right now. Notice that the students have the ability to come in here. And if they go ahead and open this up, okay, what's going to happen is that now they have Immersive Reader right here available for them. So inside of Canvas and inside of an assignment, something that some people don't actually realize that they have that ability. Let me leave the student view. And also, we are lucky enough to have the Office Cloud assignments at our district with Canvas LMS. So actually, I could come in here and I have an Office 365 assignment. It's an external tool, just like Google LTI assignments is an external tool. And notice that it's going to put it in here. Our students actually have the Immersive Reader, and they can complete the assignment inside of Canvas without leaving Canvas and be able to actually answer the questions. So if I had them read this with Immersive Reader, then they'll be able to answer these questions inside of Canvas. So this is Office 365 Cloud assignments, and it's available again inside of Canvas, and Immersive Reader is right there for you to use. So it wasn't just, if you get creative, it's not just pages, you can also use it inside of assignments. Okay. Anything else that we missed with Immersive Reader, Teresa? No?
No, I mean, now that you've heard of it, you're going to see it everywhere. I mean, Flipgrid, all these other things, you're going to see Immersive Reader pop up there just because it's so amazing and so powerful, and it's a great resource for our kids all over the place. So you're going to start seeing it more and more. Trust me, all over.
Right. We also wanted to make sure that we cover this brand new tool called Reading Progress. Okay, this is an app that works inside of Microsoft Teams, which we are lucky to have, and it's very easy to set up. We do have a video where it will show you for our teachers where you can just automatically bring all your students into your team, and you'll be able to use it inside of it. But for this particular demo, we have a class right here. I just called it Reading Progress, so I'm going to go in there right now. Okay, and I want to start an assignment. Okay, so I'm going to go in here, and Teresa's our student, so she actually is going to actually show you how it works from the student's point of view in a little bit. But I'm
Good to
going to go to assignments. Okay, and when I go in here, I have the ability to create an assignment. Okay, so I'm going to go in here and create an assignment. Okay, and I'm going to just click assignment. Okay, why are we showing you this? Because it's going to help your students independently read, and it's going to actually support you as a teacher without having to sit with them. They can do it on their own and be able to later on look at the data and look at the insights that this provides. Okay, so I'm in here. I'm just going to call this reading progress test. Okay. If I had categories in here, because many people use this as basically as their LMS, kind of like Google Classroom or Canvas, you will be able to have categories. I'm not going to worry about that right now. You as a teacher in our district shouldn't worry about this. I can come here and add instructions if I wanted to add instructions in here, just like we do in Canvas for us. And over here, I have the ability to attach. Just before I do that, notice that I can add a rubric if I wanted to, and so on and so on. I can add, a due date and so on and so on. But I'm just going to go to attach right now. Okay. I want you to see that I'm going to click attach. When I click attach, I have the ability to come to the bottom. Again, brand new. It just was pushed globally last week. Okay. So it has the ability for app to add something called reading progress. So let me click on it. Okay. It's going in there right now. And then you have the ability, it's going to walk you through how it will be used. Okay. But we're actually going to go through it right now. Okay. So again, spend more time teaching. Okay. That's a great way to sell it, right? Be able to provide more frequent fluency practice opportunities for the kids, right? Track student progress, right? And be able to differentiate for reading different reading levels. So it's a great tool that once you've set it up, it's going to work for you. But let me just close that so we can see it. Okay. So let's get started. So when you create that assignment, you have the ability to upload a Word or a PDF document. Okay. So if I wanted to bring that earthquake document that I had, I could bring that inside, as this is the one that I want to use. I picked this particular one with Immersive Reader is because it comes from Wonders, right, Teresa, which is our ELA. Yeah, right. Publisher, right? So, yeah. So I could do that. I could just basically bring that in here. But notice that Microsoft has actually added a sample library here. So I'm going to actually pick something from the sample library. I'm going to click in there, and notice that this is super cool. You can pick it by grade level.
Wow.
All the way to secondary. Okay. Let's go. What do we think? Third grade, Teresa? Should we pick third grade today?
Yes.
Okay. So it's going to give you all of the samples come from ReadWorks. Notice that it gives you the name. You can preview it if you want to. It tells you that it's nonfiction for this particular one. So it will tell you what it is. It gives you the Lexile level in here. So it gives you an idea of where they are, and it gives you the word count. So I'm just going to pick this Ancient China just for us. We're going to pick this one. Okay. Again, you could preview it if you wanted to. Okay. And you can see it right there. Okay. If you wanted to use, I guess you don't have to use something that is already created by Microsoft. You can upload your own thing if you wanted to. And it does, again, Word documents and PDFs. Okay. I'm going to select this particular one. So as I selected, the great thing about picking something that Microsoft did is that notice that I automatically added the reading level. If I would have brought something that I brought on my own, it would have asked me to say beginners, advanced, or intermediate, and so on and so on. Okay, it brought the nonfiction in here. How many attempts do I want to give my students? Okay, I honestly will select 2 attempts. The first one for them to try, to get used to the platform, to be able to make mistakes, and the second one for them to actually submit it to me. That's the way I would do it, but you do have the option to do unlimited attempts if you wanted to, but I will pick 2. Okay. By default, the sensitivity for pronunciation is set to default. You could make it less sensitive or more sensitive. I'm just going to leave it as default. Okay.
That's pretty powerful, especially, because you're not testing students on language and their ability to pronounce things properly. You're assessing them on their reading. So, wow.
Mm-hmm. And then you can require a video, or you can just have their voice. I like to require a video, and the students love to be on video, so I think it has that dimension to it. So I like to leave that on. I don't know if you have something to say about that, Teresa, about the ability to leave it on or off.
I agree with that, but in my head, I just thought I wonder what camera is going to use if
And
have me do it
as
right
a
now.
teacher, remember over here, you do have the student view. You're going to be able to see the student view. Let's kind of click on it just for a second so you can see it, okay? So this is what it's going to look like. I'm not going to do it. Teresa's going to do it. She's going to be our student.
Your
But
camera's all
this is
set up.
what it's going to look like, okay? So notice that the students are going to
man.
see themselves. They're going to see that they have 2 tries and they can start right here, okay? But we're going to go back, okay?
I think you should just do it.
Exit
You're
student
already
view,
here.
okay? And I'm going to, because I have to make sure that we go through the whole setup, okay? So let's go ahead and go next, okay? It's going to create that assignment for us. Okay, it's creating that assignment. And over here, it added it in there, okay? And then now that I've done that, I can come here and give it a due date, okay? So it's right there. And I can add it to the calendar. We're not going to worry about Teams right now. We're worrying about reading progress, okay? And I can discard, I can save, or I can assign. I can give it points if I want to. But again, if I want to do my points inside of Canvas, which is our LMS, I could do it that way and create the assignment over there and not have to worry about anything here. Let's go ahead and assign. Okay, and it's due tomorrow. And as we assign it, Teresa should be getting that assignment. So Teresa, I'm going to wait for you to tell me when this is ready so we can share your screen and put you on the spot. And I think she is ready, I think. Can I go there, Teresa?
Find it. No, let me find our class. Oh, do I have a new assignment?
There we go. So let's go ahead and go to your screen. So here we go. So notice that automatically went to our student, right?
I'm sweating now. Okay, so he made the assignment and just popped up in my assignments. I didn't have to search for anything. I thought I could use that as an excuse to get out of it, but it was too easy. All right, so here I am, and then he chose ancient China. I just click on it right here, and then it's so easy. Oh, it's choosing a different camera, so I can choose a different one right here. Oh, here's one of my other cameras. I'm just going to use this one. Is that okay, Ricardo?
Yes, and then something to mention, the first time you use it might tell the students, do you want to allow your microphone and your camera? So make sure that they do allow the microphone and the camera, which I think Teresa had already done. So that's why it actually did it automatically. But for them, it might tell them, do you want to allow this for the first time? Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start. Please don't judge my background right now because Ricardo put me on the spot. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you want me to read it properly?
No, you know what? So before you actually read it, I want to mention something. We've been talking about Immersive Reader. Guess what? Some of those tools are available right there, Teresa. So notice that to the right next to recording. And I know it's recording right now. So she would have started reading right now, but we have 2 tries. So it's okay. Notice what she has there to change the way that text looks. So we have that extra support for our students. So she could change. If you click it again, Teresa, she could click the text size. She could increase the spacing. She could change the font and also the theme. So that's available for her to do. Okay.
And if you notice, while I'm toggling through this, it actually pauses the recording for a moment. And then when I choose what I want, then it just continues the recording. You can see it says right there, it says paused. And then when I'm done, it continues. Okay. But I haven't read anything yet, so I'm going to score really badly. Can I do this attempt again?
Remember, you have 1 attempt just to try and then the final ones, right? So.
So I'm going to press I'm done.
Okay.
And I'm going to try again.
Mm-hmm. And that's what our students are going to do too. So they get used to everything, right?
This will be your last try. You've got this. Okay, Mr. Racinos, do you want me to actually read it properly or did you want me to make some mistakes?
I think you should make some mistakes so we can see the data. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. Are you sure? Yes, I'm sure. Change my camera. All right, here we go. No pressure. Today I visited the Forbidden City. How could a city be off limits? Well, in China, hundreds of years ago, common were not allowed in the home of the emperor. I went to the Forbidden City, which was built in 1420 AD. The cities are shaped like a rectangle. Every time you walk through a building, you're amazed to find another one behind it. That's good enough for now. I'm done.
So notice that it's actually going to attach the assignment. And it's going to do it pretty fast, actually. Teresa has the ability to actually listen to it.
I can watch it. I'm not going to do that, but I can watch it and I can listen. Perfect. I'm going to click next. And it was as simple as that. I'm curious
and then notice
to see
that
what
on
you
top,
see.
she has the ability to turn it in. So don't forget to turn it in.
There you go. I don't want to. Okay, I will. I love those things.
That's actually something that comes with Teams. Yeah, pretty
Simple
incredible.
joys.
We
Okay.
can spend hours with Teams and what we can do with Teams. Notice that I actually got a notification right here. So let's see what happened. And now it looks like we have the assignment right here. And let's go look up the assignment. Okay. And notice that Teresa turned it in. I mean, it just happened on the spot. Okay. So we can go ahead and click on it. Okay.
So cool.
I want you to see. Look at what happened. I mean, this is incredible. Okay, so notice our data right here. It will tell you she had 2 attempts, obviously. Notice that it told us how fast she was reading. If she was going through the whole thing, it will give you the accuracy rate. If she was mispronouncing words, it will tell you 100% omissions, because notice that she skipped, right? Alas, so it tells us that, right?
On purpose.
On purpose, obviously. She also inserted a couple of words while she was reading. So that will tell you right there if she was repeating, it will show you. If she was self-correcting, it will also show you that too, okay? And over here, notice that we can actually look at that, okay? The purple ones,
All those
everything that she
mistakes.
omitted right there. Notice she inserted R in here, okay? So you can see all of those mistakes right on the spot, okay? As your students keep using reading progress, you have something that is just incredible called insights, okay? At the beginning, and I don't know if I'm not be able to show you this because we don't have enough data right now. Again, we're just bringing this to our district right now, but I'll show you. But you could over here, come over here and enter feedback and return it if I want to. But let me show you insights. Hopefully we'll get something. There might not be a lot right now. Okay, but as we go through this, and there is not enough right now, okay, the last 28 days. So think about as you keep adding different assignments to our reading progress, you're going to see that we're going to get some data in here as Teresa is going through it. Just to give you an idea of what that looks like, if you give me a second, I'm going to find that right now, okay?
Okay, as Ricardo's doing that, he's trying to show that to you. I just want to call out to all those teachers, especially elementary, who have to do those accuracy tests one-on-one with students. You sit there and you cross out words as they get them right and wrong, and you have to go through all your students one by one. Just imagine putting this in there. Your students are doing it simultaneously on their devices, and it actually grades it for you. I'm just like, my mind's blown right now. You just imagine.
We
Wow.
saw a teacher using it for the spelling words, right? And they just had the spelling words for the day, and the kids were actually reading the words, and it's actually creating the data for them and
Or
grading
high
it for them.
frequency words. Oh
Or
my
high frequency,
goodness.
yeah. Here it is. So again, we didn't have enough data. It was the first time that Teresa tried it, but eventually it becomes this. It will show you some amazing data as the students go through the year and what it looks like and how they get better inside of reading progress. And it's just the data is just incredible to be able to see some of this stuff right in here. Okay, so that was, I know we didn't give it a lot of time, but we wanted to make sure you were aware that this is actually available for you inside of Teams. And again, it's called Reading Progress, and I just think it's incredible. And you saw how easy it was for us to set it up.
All right, so I think that is it for tonight. We got to share our most exciting and favorite tools, which are Immersive Reader and what was the one we just did right now, Ricardo?
Reading Progress, brand new.
Yes, so we just finished our very first episode of the Inclusive Classroom, but we want to tell you what's coming up. So, Ricardo, what are they to expect?
So, as we move forward with this series, we are definitely going to be spending probably my favorite, the English language learner tools. You're going to see, like we saw the captions in Spanish or other languages. That's such a great tool. We're actually going to have our amazing Gabriel back when we do our inclusive math tools that we're going to be talking about. We are going to be spending some time talking about inclusive writing tools eventually. And we also want to make sure that we talk about communication tools that are going to be used with our students, but also with our parents and with the community. And you're going to see some of those that are just pretty incredible.
So we hope you liked our episode. Thank you so much for joining us. We hope to see you again in a week and for our future episodes. Thank you.
Thank you so much.